Hello everyone. I'm guessing most of you have heard about the situation going on in the United States at the moment, and if you haven't, then you really do need to get onto that. George Floyd was murdered by a white cop. His neck was crushed. He said, "I can't breathe," and yet the cop still kept his knee on his neck for over 8 minutes. This is murder and it should be charged as such. Currently, as I'm recording this video, the cop has been charged with second-degree murder, while the other 3 cops that just stood and watched, which is just as bad, have been charged with something and we're not sure what. They stood and watched this man get killed and they did nothing. And that brings me to the fact that silence is complicity, and silence means that you agree with this racist system of injustice in America and the systems of injustice across the globe. It doesn't matter what country you're from, you should be supporting the Black Lives Matter movement because racism is an issue in every single country. Systemic racism is an issue in all of our societies, and it's about time that change happens. Now, I've spoken out on all my Instagram accounts and on my Twitter account and on my TikTok, but I felt the need to speak out here because I have the most following on here. And it's my responsibility as a content creator not to stay silent and to speak out about this so as many people are aware of what's going on and as many people as possible know what they can do to help. There's a whole list of petitions that you could sign and places that you could donate to, and I'm going to have a lot of resources in the description below, so please check those out and please make a difference. I'll also not be posting anything not to do with Black Lives Matter for this next week as a show of respect towards the lives lost because of police brutality. It's very important for the media to be filled with information about this rather than just random stuff ignoring the situation. So if you're still posting content this week, then please do speak out about the movement as well. I don't want to see people remaining silent about this and continuing as if life hasn't changed at all when it's about time that life changes. Silence is murder. Silence means that you don't care about all the black people, all the black and brown people being discriminated and killed in the United States and across the world just because of their race. It's not enough to just not be racist. You have to be effectively anti-racist. You have to share resources, sign petitions. If you can, then donate. And there's a video on YouTube, I'll have a link in the description, that has shared lots of works from different black artists and creators. And in the middle of the video, there are loads of ads, and all the ad revenue is going to be going to Black Lives Matter. So even if you don't want to watch the video, you can leave it playing on repeat somewhere in the house, and that way you're going to be donating to Black Lives Matter without leaving your house and without spending a cent out of your pockets. It's definitely about time that change happened in the United States with police brutality and systemic racism, and we can be a part of that change by sharing resources, signing petitions, emailing, calling and texting the Minneapolis Police Department as well as other government bodies in the US demanding change. To all my white friends and followers, it's very important for us to educate ourselves and to correct previous behavior that could contribute to systemic racism. It's very important to speak out right now. Don't stay silent, but also don't shout over black creators. I know a lot of us want to help, but it's very important to let their voices be heard and to amplify their voices rather than shouting over them. This is not about us, this is about them. This is not white saviorism, and this is not me trying to drown out black voices. This is me just letting everyone know that silence is not an option at the moment. And I know it's Pride Month right now, and it's a very different type of Pride Month, not just because of quarantine, but because of the protests and basically a revolution in the United States. Now remember that Pride Month began. The reason we have Pride is because of a black butch lesbian and a black trans woman who fought for the rights of LGBT people. And those were the Stonewall riots. So anyone saying that riots can't help and that riots are counterproductive, you are siding with the police officers who are racist and who are tear gassing and shooting people with rubber bullets. And a lot of the instances when looting happened and when things were being set on fire was police officers and white supremacists trying to blame the protesters. So that just brings me to the fact that question everything you read and don't believe everything on the media. I've been learning everything from social media at the moment because I do not trust news channels or the general media to tell the truth at the moment. It's always important to second guess everything. This is a very serious video, but it's also a very serious conversation, and it's time for us to start having these conversations with each other in order to have change in the world. I'm sorry this video has been so disorganized and has a lot of me rambling. I didn't really have a script for this. I just put my camera in front of me and spoke from the heart. Just Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter, and it's time for us to change the ridiculous system. So people like Ahmaud Arbery, Tony McDade, Tamir Rice, George Floyd, Eric Garner, Breonna Taylor, Jonathan Ferrell, Terrence Crutcher, Keith Scott, Sean Bell, Randy Evans, Sandra Bland, Oscar Grant, and countless others wouldn't have died for nothing, and so that hundreds more don't follow. Thank you for listening. Resources in the description, as I've said.